not going to lie to you and say I feel good.
Yeah.
How's the new house?
Yeah, I'm so much better. Let's just put it at that, and getting better every day. It's just so this is a long journey, this one. So
That's okay. Yeah.
yeah,
One day at a time.
I know. My nurse at the hospital said you set yourself one small goal, just one small goal for each day, one that you know you can obtain. And if you get it done, you've had a great day. If it doesn't, if you can't, you do it tomorrow. So I was like,
Good
okay.
advice.
Good advice. Good advice. Well,
So
you're probably watching your slideshow over and over again, huh?
Yes, absolutely. And actually, you know what I did with the banana?
What's
is
that?
I have my calligraphy pens that I use to make my greeting cards that Amy taught us how to do that time in class.
Mhm.
And so all of my calligraphy pens are now in the banana. For that. Yeah. It's with all of my art supplies.
Right.
He sent me a banana, a plastic zippered banana pouch. when he sent the flash drive.
Really
So,
cute. That banana purse is really
Yeah.
cute.
banana purse, yeah.
All right.
So thank you for that.
No problem.
Wow.
Hi,
Okay.
Catherine.
Hi.
Hi, Catherine. We're up to 14 people. We'll probably maybe get a couple more. I see Kevin is back from his adventures in the wild.
Welcome back, Kevin.
And
Fun to be back.
good to see
Okay.
him back.
Where'd you
And,
go?
I was in Sedona.
Oh, I love it there.
Mm.
You know, we did some night sky, Milky Way photography.
I saw some of that.
Yeah,
I
very nice.
yeah,
I like the beverage shots you did.
I did too.
We went from coffee to beer. I'm like, oh God, that sounds really
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Good
Well,
wine
that
tasting.
was, to be clear, that was Irish coffee.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay, so Friday, Amy's going to do a presentation. Why don't you give a brief spiel about what you're going to do Friday, Amy?
We're going to talk about shooting small product jewelry. And I'm looking at some tutorials on that we can watch from YouTube that I want to make it real simple for you, that you don't have to go buy special lighting gear and that kind of thing. You know, that's always been my take when I give a demonstration and try to when we did the portraits of how to use window light and an open window to create a breeze and that kind of thing. So same thing. We're going to be using natural light when possible.
Okay, and then this, as you all know, this Wednesday, today, I'm going to talk about my trip to Africa, which was the greatest trip I've ever been on. I'm really excited about talking about it. And the following Wednesday, since we skipped a week on Lightroom, I've been thinking and I've come up with some great ideas for next Wednesday's class. And so next Wednesday, I'm going to show you how to be in Lightroom and then edit in Photoshop and then put it back into Lightroom. And so, and I'll show you some basic things. Why would you do that? I'm going to show you why and what you can accomplish by it. So I'm pretty excited about doing that.
Steve, did you record? Did you push
Yes,
record?
I'm recording.
Yeah.
And
Okay. So before you start, I have an announcement to make.
yeah,
if that's
I'm
okay.
going to move to, okay, yeah, Linda and anyone else have an announcement? Go ahead.
Okay, so the storytelling workshop, they're looking for some people to come participate in the storytelling. It's like a pilot workshop that they're going to be doing. So I need to get a list of names to present to them. So is anyone interested in maybe trying to do storytelling, making videos and telling stories? The video doesn't involve any technical equipment. You can use your cell phone. You can do all that online, but it's a good workshop to to take. Anybody interested? Okay, Linda and Mary. Okay, and would it be anybody else?
Well, what do
I
you
see
do?
Robert.
You just record yourself and send it to you, or what?
Well, what it is it's helping you to. It's going to be a way of helping you to write your story and you record. You can show it and tell it in any kind of ways.
Mhm.
But you know, if you have any interest, you know, they're looking for, you know, participation to you know, people to do it. Are you? You might be interested, Tommy. Yeah, you know, I can give them your name and then they can call you and then you can schedule what time would be convenient for you.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me think about it. I'll call you and let you know.
Okay, call me back because
All
I
right.
got it. I'm going to be contacting them soon.
Okay.
So Linda and Mary, anybody else?
And what age group?
Veterans and, you know, all age groups. Are you interested, Robert?
Yeah, I'll think about it.
Okay, well, you know, I mean, would it be okay if I can put you on the list and you know, how about you, Tom? Would you be interested? Oh, no.
Linda, I'm sorry to kind of like chime in, but I just wanted having a little difficulty with my balancing thing here for my screen because the cat's all wound up. But I do just want to say to everyone that sometimes when classes or opportunities are presented, and if the VA is sponsoring it and all these other kind of things that they're willing to go, you know, to structure and schedule for us, I think no matter what, while you're thinking about it, it's best to say yes, because then at least that way it'll show a specific number of participants, or else they're going to say, well, nobody's really interested anyways, why blah blah blah. But so at least if you say yes, then you know they can go over some of the procedures with your or whatever, and you can still, if you still are making up your mind, you'll learn how helpful that it can be therapeutically, or the support that they're willing to give us. Because if enough people don't sign up, it's going to get nixed just like that. It'll be a bleep.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have, I mean, it's always something to think about, but the other thing to think about is that you're controlling your narrative. It's just like how beautifully Steve has written these last, you know, the bio sheets and some of this stuff. I'm like, I was just flabbergasted about, not flabbergasted, but just so happily surprised to know that I'm, you know, getting tutelage and everybody's learning together from all walks of your military experience. So it's just another way to show it. But if you can always say yes, and then after they call you and go over what it's going to entail, then at least you can make up a more formalized decision.
It will all be online, you know, so
Yeah.
so you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to leave your home.
Yeah. But I mean, but
so-
it's sometimes when you're getting ready to sign up with some kind of things, the people
Yeah.
might be a little bit apprehensive if they're gonna, you know, how's this gonna be used, what it's for. But I think if you hear it from the actual authority too, even though Linda's the liaison and primary point of contact, listen to what they actually say, and then you can ask them more questions, because they don't tell Linda everything.
Well, I'm participating in it now. I'm going to be doing it now. But it's up to you how you want to share it. You know, whether or not you want to share it. It's just really it's just a workshop that's available. I see Elmer just joined us too. Hi, Elmer.
Hi,
Elmer.
So we are looking for some participants, and they're looking, you know, because you know, part of this is there's a funding that they got, and they're trying to have a pilot class scheduled before the funding date is over, so that, you know, if they don't have it before, then they might not get funding later on next time. So, you know, I'm just looking for some volunteers who would like to try it out, just to go and see. And
I'm sorry, Linda.
Okay, well, thank you, Linda, and I'm sure everyone will get in touch with you. And I think we need to get started with today's presentation. But before that, one more thing I want to say, and Amy had a great idea and we're already running a little late, so we'll discuss it Friday, and that is to have a garden party. We could have a date where a time we all meet with masks and stay 6 feet apart at the VA gardens, bring our cameras, and Amy will bring spray bottles. And we'll discuss this Friday. Today, I'm going to
Okay.
take you to Africa. So let me go to share screen. And the reason, share screen, boy, hang on a minute. Why am I not seeing what I'm looking for? Here we go. Okay. All right. So today I'm going to talk about Africa. Everybody just say, I want to hear everybody say Africa. Don't you just love the way Africa rolls off your tongue? It's just, and Africa is so hard to describe. Amy asked me, and I refused to answer it. She says, well, how many slides do you have for today? And I says, Africa is a big continent. As a matter of fact, it's the second largest continent next to Asia, and it's the second most populated next to Asia, and there's between 1,500 and 3,000 languages spoken in Africa. So to get to Africa, I first had to fly to New York City and stay overnight. So stay overnight, then we leave New York City, and 7 hours into the flight, we entered African airspace near Dakar, which is in the northern part of Africa. We still had 8 hours and 4,600 miles to go to get to Johannesburg in South Africa. Once we got to Johannesburg, we had to change planes and fly 2 more hours south to get to Cape Town. So Africa is huge. All right, now the computer's not cooperating. Let's see, let's try, nothing's working. Hang on. There we go. All right, so just briefly, here's a map of Africa, and at the very bottom green tip is where South Africa is.
Thumbnails. Are you
only seeing a thumbnail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
all of your pictures? It's like a contact sheet.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh boy, how do I change that?
Like you're in library view.
Hang
They're under folders.
on a minute, let me hit share screen again. Let me see if I can solve this problem.
There you go.
Yay.
Got a
Ready?
full screen?
Oh, nice, nice.
Full screen.
Okay, should I go back to the other one? Let's see, no, well now it's not letting me switch, oh boy. Let's see what happens if I,
Oh, shoot.
I graduated high school in the Belgian Congo. I spent 3 years in the Belgian Congo.
What were you doing there, Mary?
I lived at a mission station called Lubondai in the Belgian Congo for 3 years. My mother was the matron for a missionary school
Oh,
run
wow.
by the Presbyterians.
How old were you?
I was 13 I was 15. I graduated from high school to 18, 15 to 18. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, Mary.
Came back in 1954.
What?
Steve, I see your mouth moving, but I don't hear anything.
Uh-oh.
Muted. He's muted.
I just want to say hi, Robin, real quick from Rainey.
Hi, Rainey. How are you? It's good
You
to
look good. I'm so
can you
happy
hear
to
me
see
now?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Can you hear me now? All right, let's try again.
Wait.
Let's try it this way and see if you see a full screen. Can you see it?
No, you
Nope.
gotta do
Oh, we
split
still-
screen.
Still got everybody.
Yeah,
Okay.
share screen.
Let me try doing this another way, if you don't mind. Hang on. This is.
Are you recording it?
Yeah, I'm recording. Hang on. So I'm going to go to. I'm going to try looking at this a different way. It won't be quite as nice as maybe avoid this problem. African slideshow. Okay, are you seeing a bunch of pictures?
No.
Oh,
No,
No?
You're not seeing anything, huh?
Well, we're seeing us,
seeing
all of us.
us, all of us.
So you,
Right.
are you back in the share screen?
Hang on a minute. I'm going to, I think I lost share screen when I did that. No, hang on.
technical difficulties.
Yes,
Mhm.
share screen. Okay,
That didn't
now,
work.
hang on. Let me get to where I want to go now, to a different folder. Files. Let me try that. I was just gonna. Nope. Oh boy. Share screen.
Being ornery today, huh?
Can I ask a quick question?
Mhm.
Like when something like this is happening, I mean, even though, so we're all logged in under Steve's Zoom. So even though now Amy, like if she's the new Zoom one of the new Zoom administrator, do they work together that you could just automatically pick us up, Amy, and we'd all still be logged in and do so until he got his worked out, or do you have to go in separate?
Have to go in separate. I mean,
Okay.
I would have to create a
I was
Zoom
just
meeting.
thinking like if it was a group, even though you have individual accounts, when we log in, if it's under group mode,
There we go.
if that changes anything, but
Well, Steve, there's
No.
still thumbnails, but
Yeah.
they're big thumbnails.
Okay, I know. Yeah, I'm trying different ways to do this. Okay, now share screen, and I'm getting something I don't want to see, and I can't seem to get rid of it. I'm very frustrated about this.
That's all right.
Uh,
Hey, Rain, I know, Amy, you could be made a co-host.
Steve and I did that once, and that messed things up so bad. And I don't have his African pictures on my computer, so I don't think that would help us.
Yeah, not in this case.
But I
I
did
stopped
sign up
sharing.
so that when we are working on projects and want to work one-to-one, that now Steve isn't the only one that has Zoom. But I've only done it once with Robin, and we had a nice time talking.
Well, see, we all could have Zoom, but we'd have to send out that unique link. And
Yeah.
we all are entitled to
link
only
now.
40 something minutes for, for the free account.
Oh, yeah,
But
you
in
can-
order to do,
Ah,
order
here
to
we
do it
go.
this way.
I think I'm getting
Okay.
it back. But now let me.
you're right about the individual Zoom. It just depends on what platform the level you go to.
right.
All right. Tell me now. Can you see this?
Well, we can see
A
that
white
white line.
line.
We see a white line, but we're getting close.
See a white line. Oh my
I can
goodness.
take a picture of it and send it to you.
It's
No.
like the toolbar at the top.
It says sharing is paused. Bring your share window to the front. Okay, how do I do that? How about now?
Same
It says, resume share. Oh,
Are we
okay.
getting there? We're getting
Now
there?
you're seeing it.
Almost. No, not yet.
No.
Your screen.
This is a real
now it
teachable
still
moment.
says my screen sharing is paused. Resume share. What do you see now?
I'm
Or
gonna
maybe
keep
if
my
you
dog-
go to view.
It says you are screen sharing, but you're still not seeing what I'm talking about, are you?
No, is it down at the bottom? Do you have anything open down at the bottom that you have to click on?
Okay, I'm going to stop share and open it up again.
Who's
Okay.
you trying to screen share with?
With us.
Oh, I
Uh,
thought screen share meant that if there was somebody that you're doing a combined class, like when he's forwarding your videos. or your
We're getting there.
Good.
We're almost there.
are you seeing these files now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Now the trick is, can I open them individually?
Got it.
Did that work?
Yeah.
I ain't got it.
No,
It has-
it's
it hasn't
not-
Oh,
opened
you see
yet.
one slide now that says South Africa.
Well, we see,
As soon
no,
as
we
I
still
do
see.
that,
Large thumbnails.
as soon as I try to do that, it says sharing is paused. Uh, bring,
Does it take you to someplace else or?
now you've got them all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can scroll.
Yeah, but I wanted, that's not how I really want to do it. But it doesn't look like, let me make one more try on the, here on this and see if I can make it where I had all of them. And what I could do is, let's see. No.
It's nice and sharp. I think the pictures are big enough to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice.
Do you
sign.
see the whole thing
Open it
here?
up in library and then
Oh,
click on develop and go next, next, next.
well, these aren't in Lightroom. You know what?
Ah.
It would only take a second to add them to Lightroom.
I think this is fine. We can, I
Yeah, but-
mean,
Oh, that's-
But you're not seeing it. It says sharing is paused.
I see
So
a
we can see.
You can see the map of Africa.
Quite a
See the
South
map.
Africa.
And on my screen, it's like 5 inches by 5 inches.
Yeah.
Mine's about not even that. That can't be 5 inches. I don't know what 5 inches is.
But it can't be that.
It won't
don't
be much bigger
I'm
because our
sorry. It's the
screen's
first
only.
thing that came.
It was kind of the size of my face. Now it's smaller.
Yeah. Well, this is perfect for when we're preparing for something and you run into a glitch or something about how he hasn't ruffled a feather yet of his own about how, because he's just still as calm. I would be all like, oh my God, what do I do? Somebody help me. I'm like, I'm learning a lot just to stay calm. No, it's not the end. It's not the end of the world. It's just the beginning of the display.
So basically, you gonna bring it into Lightroom, Steve?
Maybe we lost Steve.
Well, we still got Steve some kind of way.
Not Africa, but no Steve.
We still have Steve some kind of way.
Well, can I throw a little piece of tidbit out there for y'all?
Uh-huh.
And it was like 1983. I had entered the Miss Seattle beauty pageant. I had just graduated from like high school equivalency, but that's good enough for then. But so anyway, and I actually got to compete by being in Miss Seattle. I won the opportunity to go to the Miss Washington representative program that they had. And when I was running for the Miss Seattle, they wanted to make sure that it was quoted as Miss Black Seattle. So I had to choose an African country that I thought I wanted to represent, although not having ever been there and never really learned about it in high school or any other school. But so I did choose I chose the Ivory Coast. And with my presentation and everything, so for the so then I went on to be the Miss Seattle. Then I competed in the Miss Washington. And in the Miss Washington, I actually got Miss Congeniality, because I'll never forget when my grandmother said when it was televised on TV and they have to do all the dance routines and everything. It was on KNBC in Seattle. And she said, "Oh, honey, you were the only one who turned the wrong way."
We
Hey,
have
Steve,
a
it's
big
up.
There you go, Steve.
You
Yeah,
got it.
got it.
We got him up there now.
Yeah.
I've warmed up the audience and
Steve, on mute. Steve, you're muted. Stevie G, you're muted.
All right. I don't know why it muted me when I hit share screen. Okay. I actually took this picture from Table Mountain, and
Wow.
and of course now it's not letting me move to the next picture.
Oh, God.
Oh, there we go.
Whoa.
Now you're on
Come
number
on.
10.
Yeah, I know. Here. Well, yeah, and it's kind of changed the order, but hopefully we can. This is actually from Table Mountain. This is, the order got messed up a little bit here, but I'll manage. This is Cape Town from the top of Table Mountain.
Wow.
And, oh, there's a tourist on top of Table Mountain. There were lots of these, what I called, I found out later the real name for them, but I called them rock rodents. They're very large. They are part of the rodent family. And there's another real name for them, but I just called them rock rodents, and they were everywhere on top of this mountain. There's another shot from Table Mountain.
Steve, what
Yeah.
country was Cable Mountain?
What's that?
What country was Cable Mountain?
This is in South Africa.
Okay.
We flew to Cape Town, South Africa, and that's where we started. And
Okay.
the first thing we did, by the time we got there, it was night. Spent the night, got up the next morning, and took the cable car to the top of Table Mountain. So here's this is a building that's up there on top of Table Mountain. Here you can see the cables running up, the black and white. Again, these are a little bit out of order. Okay, so from, I'm just gonna have to explain them the way they're coming up here now. While in Cape Town, we also went to a place called Seal Island, and even where we were getting on the boat, some of the seals came ashore and people were petting them and so forth. It's another shot from Seal Island. Keep in mind that the southern tip of South Africa, the southern tip of Africa is not quite as close to Antarctica as the tip of South America, but it's way down there. Remember, it's a huge continent. And these are birds I can't identify.
Goonie birds.
Nice picture. They're what?
Goonie birds.
Okay.
Goonie birds.
Yeah, you bird people can speak up. This is again the port where we left to go to Seal Island. That was pretty colorful. And of course, lots of souvenir shops everywhere. And the theme was obviously the animals on most of the souvenirs of Africa. From there, we also did a trip to the Cape of Good Hope. And the Cape of Good Hope is actually where a lot of ships crashed in the early days of sailing. But it is the most southwestern point of the African continent. And it's another shot. A very beautiful area. The main thing we were warned about here was, oops, let me go back. Well, about the Cape of Good Hope is baboons. Baboons can kill a leopard. They're very strong and can be very aggressive. They weren't really a problem most of the trip. They were everywhere, but we were told not to carry food and especially chocolate in our backpacks. If you got chocolate in your backpack, they will know it and they'll rip that right off of you and take it from you. They love chocolate.
Picture there, Steve, of the wave coming up, and they're in the spray.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
What
So
time
from
of
there
year
we
was
went to.
there, Steve?
I'm sorry, what?
What time of year is this? Is this like winter, our winter?
No, it was our winter, their summer. So, because it's a southern hemisphere, it's just the opposite. From there, we went to a town called Simonstown. Very beautiful town. Uh, beautiful homes and cottages and stuff. And people love living there except for one thing. There's a bunch of penguins that hang out there. They come there, and these penguins make the most god-awful sound, and they smell bad. But anyhow, it attracts a lot of tourists, so it brings some money to the town. There's Cafe Pinguino. And by the way, Africa, in South Africa, the most spoken language is Zulu, followed by Afrikaner, another one, and the fourth is English. But just about everybody, everybody I met spoke a minimum of 3, sometimes 4 or 5 languages. A lot of them also spoke Dutch. There's one of those awful penguins hanging out. Now, most of what we saw in Cape Town looked like a very, very modern, beautiful city, incredible infrastructure. But of course, if you watch movies about Africa, this is what you see. Things like this, these shanty towns. And they turned out to be different than what I imagined. The people that live there, the government has allotted this land, this shanty town land. The people live there for free. They've given up on making them pay for electricity, so they get free electricity. But the people live there. They may have a good job and make good money, but they'll live in shanty town until they've saved up enough money to buy a nice home. So from there, we went to a town. This is about a half a day's drive, but it's in the wine country. It's a huge wine country in South Africa. And this place is called Stellenbosch. Very beautiful town. Just about every building is white. The incredible cafes and restaurants. And speaking of cafes and restaurants, the coffee everywhere. Every cup of coffee I had in Africa was worth dying for. And food, food. I never had I enjoyed every meal so much. Food was just out of this world.
There goes the diet.
Huh?
There goes the diet.
Yeah, I didn't do too bad. Here we're still in Stellenbosch. You can see it's a very popular. It's a
Wow.
And you see a lot of these Land Rovers and Toyotas and stuff, and motorcycles set up to travel and go out on adventure in Africa. Now we're back to Cape Town. This was a big shopping center near where near the port, where we got on a boat to go to Robben Island. That's in the shopping center area too. And there you can see Table Mountain in the background. Table Mountain, Cape Town, South Africa. Like I said, the slides are now out of order. Picture in a picture, yeah.
Yes.
So we took a boat to Robben Island, which is where Nelson Mandela was imprisoned for quite a long time. And that was very interesting. That was a very interesting trip. Here's another shot back where we're waiting to get on the boat. Again, an incredible restaurant. The harbor. These people had just been to Robben Island and are getting off, and they're just singing and dancing, having a good time as they got off the boat before we got on. Now I'm on Robben Island looking back towards Cape Town. The Table Mountain you can see is quite prominent. These ladies were from Durban. We flew from, when we got done in the Cape Town area, we flew to Durban, but these ladies were here on vacation and they belonged to some organization I no longer remember, but my wife got in with them and talking to them. This is one of the part of the prison system. I've got lots of pictures there, but the main one, just a couple here. This was a former prisoner. He was 16 years old when he was put in prison here because he was protesting the, I just had brain fade. What do they call that system in Africa?
Apartheid?
Huh? Apartheid, yeah.
Yeah.
At 16 years old, he had asked a question or something about apartheid, so they arrested him, and he spent the next 20 years in prison. And now he's a tour guide for the prison. There we are going into another part of the prison, and this is the cell. This is Nelson Mandela's cell. They all slept on this, just basically like a piece of cardboard. Had one blanket, one pillow. To get this picture, it was very difficult. I had to reach out and stick my camera through some bars and stuff. So anyhow, finally we get done. We head back to Cape Town, so I was able to get some night shots. There's some, these things roll around. People are having fun. Walk back to the hotel. Oh, and by the way, walking from there back to the hotel, Cape Town's a very affluent town. Walk by a Ferrari dealer, a Porsche dealer, BMW dealer, Audi dealer, all on the same street, and very fancy. I think I saw more Ferraris in Cape Town than I see in Orange County. And also these ladies, this was probably about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. These ladies were out walking around, so I took a picture of them. Now, well, this is, again, we're back to out of order, but this is in a Jeep, or actually in a Land Cruiser, going up the Sani Pass. Sani Pass, it goes to a country, a landlocked country called Lesotho, and the road going up is very rugged. It's controlled. You can't, you're only allowed to go up it in something like a Land Cruiser or a Land Rover, four-wheel drive. And here's some shots. It was up to 10,000 feet, and it actually snowed. The day after we left, it snowed up there. It was cold up there. But the scenery was just unbelievable. And about 2/3 of the way up, we stopped to take a break, and there was Stickman. I think he just does this to get money. Yeah, wants money to take his picture. So I didn't pay him. I just took the picture. So now we're up here at the top, and this is where the people are living. They're mostly sheep farmers, but we also ate again at the highest pub in Africa, and again, just absolutely really, really good food. There you can see part of the road winding up. I put so much work into putting these in order, and now we don't have it, but there's the black and white of it.
Wow. Oh,
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I like that.
And this is one of the farmers hanging out. These are, you'll see up in a minute a picture of the huts they live in. These are modernized replicas of those huts if you want to spend the night and have a little bit nicer accommodations on top of the mountain. Here's the way they actually live. They build these stone huts with thatch roof. We went in one, and they were baking bread inside. They somehow got heat in the floor. They use it to stay warm. They use it for cooking. It's very clever. A lot of dogs, rangy looking dogs. There's a cute little boy. And here's their version of a 7-Eleven. So again, another shot of the road.
That's beautiful, that fall coming.
Okay, now we're in Zululand. Evidently all my slides that explain what we're going on have slipped to the back or something, but the Zulu warriors were very fierce. They even defeated it. The first time they met the British Army met them, the Zulu warriors only had spears and bows and stuff, and they defeated the British Army. The history of Africa and South Africa is so complex. I'm not even, it's just extremely complex. There's a lot of migrations, tribes shifting back and forth, and Europe, finally European intervention and so forth. But the Zulu warriors were known to be quite fierce, and they have their basically own way of living. And we went to a Zulu village, and I learned, here's a guy demonstrating, here's a Zulu warrior demonstration or whatever. But they brew their own beer. They smoke pot when they have meetings. Oh, and of course, I had to get a picture of a chicken. This is for Amy.
It's cute.
Zulu chicken.
The legs on that.
Yeah. Legs on that chick.
That's your wife?
That's my wife with a Zulu warrior. And now the ladies, well, since we're not at the VA, I can tell the true story on this picture. The ladies in the Zulu tradition, they go topless until they're married.
Huh.
And when they get married, then they wear a top. But of course, in this village, which is a tourist attraction, they don't follow that for the tourists for some reason. So anyhow, we got to watch them make beer, and then we got to sample at their beer. It's a corn beer. They make it from corn, and this guy was quite happy. He'd had a few samples. And because of my medication, I can't drink, but I did go ahead and take a small sip to see what it tasted like. And it was pretty good.
Quality control.
Yeah.
Sample for quality control.
Yeah. Yeah. This, if I remember correctly, this was a demonstration of how they make paper, some sort of paper, a paper-like product. And then we went into this big room, and they're doing the type of Zulu dances, and the women, the men and stuff, whatever the dance was, they dance a few steps, and then all of a sudden kicked extremely high. I think it had something to do with fighting or something like this.
Wow.
Every one of them was doing this as part of the dance. So, and music. And this is a Zulu tractor.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Anyhow, from there we went to a place
Oh.
which, if my slide was in the right order, I didn't think I'd tell you the name of it, but we went onto this river that had a lot of hippos and crocodiles, and we were warned at night the hippopotamuses kill more people than any animal, and they're not meat eaters. And the reason is they can run around 30 mile an hour underwater and 35 mile an hour on land, and they're extremely territorial. They stay in the water during the day to stay cool. They come out at night and go wherever they want to eat grass. And so that's why they warn you to don't get anywhere near a hippo at night, because they're extremely territorial, and they hate you being anywhere near them.
Wow.
So as you can see, they can take a big bite out of you.
Oh, I love that.
And here is a hippo. My wife is holding a hippo tooth, and that thing is so heavy. It's like it was made of lead. It's a ivory, and it's so that gives you a perspective when you saw their open mouth how big their teeth are. And there's a nice profile shot.
I love that.
So, and the Cape buffalo, they're different than the water buffalo in Asia. They're called Cape buffalo, and they're not as dangerous, but if they get their attack right, they can kill a lion. You just don't want to get in its way. They're big. And giraffes they're just amazing to watch, but they're not very smart, is what we were told. Now, the guides in these parks, I had this divided up into the various game parks we went to, but in Kruger National Park, which is the park is about the size of the country of Israel. To be a guide in any of the national parks, you have to have a degree, a college degree in something to do with animal behavior or something related to that. And then you have 2 years of training in the park before you can drive people around in the park. And the reason is you have to know and understand how the animals behave, because especially elephants, because elephants are very nice and can be very friendly, but they can also get upset and irritated. So they have to be able to understand the language. And these animals are all talking to each other all the time. For example, baboons have a different sound for there's an eagle in the sky than they do a sound they make for a leopard on the ground. So warning each other. And the animal density is just unbelievable. Rhinos.
Yeah, we've seen that picture before.
Yeah, you've seen that rhino picture before. Oh, I didn't realize that in there twice. And it was with a baby and its mother.
Oh, yeah.
And the scenery was far different than I expected. The scenery was not anything like a Tarzan movie. And also there's vast, huge distances. When we were driving from Durban to Zululand to various places, you would go for miles and miles of tree farms. South Africa has huge tree farms, and they sell this wood from these tree farms all over the world. The biggest customer is China. And there's my wife out exploring, looking at the animals. In South Africa, there's over 350 species of birds, so I did not memorize all of them. I missed this one, I'm sorry. And
That's one of my favorite images.
Yeah, zebras, even when the zebras will go, again, most of these animals will go anywhere they want. People have tried to put up fences for elephants, for example, and the elephants don't care. They're the bulldozers of the desert, of the jungle. So those are pretty ineffective. In one hotel, we woke up in the morning, walked out, and there were about 6 or 7 zebras right outside our room. A giraffe walking around.
That's really nice.
So you're saying you have to watch out where you step when you go out for breakfast, huh?
Yeah, you might get more than you bargained for. I think this is a beautiful shot.
That's fabulous.
It is.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So, and then we went, so we flew to Durban.
Wow.
From Durban, we went to Zululand. Zululand, we went to Swaziland. This is in Swaziland. Swaziland is another small landlocked country, and it's a monarchy. It has a king, and the king rules the country, but the king has a queen, and the king can legislate anything he wants, and the only person that can overrule his legislation is the queen.
The power of women.
So the queens don't live long, but no, I'm just kidding.
Oh, Lord.
So this was in the marketplace, and again, there was a lot of stuff for the locals and a lot of souvenirs too.
That was a great pattern shot.
Yeah,
that was really nice.
And again, people were so nice everywhere. People were just so nice and friendly, except this lady didn't. She was not happy with my street photography, as you can tell.
Well, she may, I don't know.
But this one lady was.
It was a good picture, though, of her true feelings.
Yeah. Lots of souvenirs. And it was crazy. I didn't buy any souvenirs. I won't speak for my wife. But unfortunately, to do this tour, it was not ideal for photography. There was 35 people in our group, and it was amazing. Every time we stopped, they were just packing up. Some of them had to buy another suitcase to go home. They bought so many souvenirs. And
I know a few people who have been over there on various tours through Morocco or the Kenya, all kind of places where they've been on, and they end up usually just shipping it back as a
Yeah.
household good. It's cheaper.
Yeah, well, some of the places offer that because it was just impossible to pack up. I have no idea what this is supposed to be, but anyhow.
It looks like a
Yes, hippo, but I'm or well,
I like
shrunken.
that pattern.
yeah,
It's
that's
shrunken
another.
head
I thought that was a
hippo.
beautiful pattern. There was lots of fabric for sale,
Oh, she's
and
so
I already
cute.
explained that. I took
She's
this picture for
pretty.
Stephen Foreman.
Yeah.
Aw.
Beautiful.
And then so we left Swaziland to go to back into South Africa to go to Kruger, and on the way there we saw this huge dam. So yeah, and there was the border. We had to do so many border crossings. I thought this was cool. They don't say wide load; it's abnormal. Now these are from Kruger National Park, I think. Now that the order's out, but again, now on Kruger, because this tour we only had 3 days at Kruger. And when I say when I go back, I mean it. I loved this trip more than any place I've been, and as most of you have already realized, I've been to all over Asia and Europe, and I've been in about 30 countries and lots of trips. And this is my #1 priority now, to go back to Africa. But whatever park I go to, if I go to Kruger again, I would want to stay a week, because it's just pot luck on what animals you're going to see, where they're moving and what's going on. And we lucked out. I did not have good luck with lions and leopards. So
Yeah.
baby elephant, that was kind of cute.
Oh, but
Now
the
the
lions and
elephants,
leopards were
the
able to
elephant,
see you very well.
what's that?
The lions and leopards were able to see you very well.
Oh, I'm sure they were. But well, we did come across some lions, but it was they were all sleeping with their back towards us and stuff. They must have had a good meal the night before. The elephant situation is very complex and difficult for them. They have too many elephants right now in Kruger National Park. Supposedly, and they enforce this with armed guards and everything to stop poachers from killing elephants and taking the ivory. But they're not 100% successful at that. But the problem with elephants is they are the bulldozers of the forest. They can eat a whole tree. I saw an elephant pull a tree down, pretty big tree, and just they eat like 300 or 400 pounds of food a day, and they poop about the same amount. They're just constantly eating. And so by the way, here's what one of the tour Land Cruiser, Toyota things you use to go around and travel around the park. And the guide, of course, is trying to keep eye on everything. And the problem of being with a tour group like that, again, I'd like to go and just hire on my own, hire somebody driving around on my own. And you can. People actually rent cars and drive around. That's a little bit more dangerous because they're not as knowledgeable as the tour guides, and elephants end up kind of rolling their cars around sometimes. But it meant that every time I got into one of these, I had to fight for a good seat for taking pictures. But
beautiful.
That's
Yeah.
different.
So I've got a guidebook telling the names of all these animals, and I haven't looked at it for a while, so don't test me. But I do. Now the Africans call these banana birds. I think there's another elephant shot I really like that I took. And here we're in Kruger National Park, and there's a place, we've been out about half a day, and a place you can stop and have lunch, go to the restroom. Another shot of a banana bird. This elephant actually managed to reach up and grab the tree there. And these are warthogs. Some people think they're ugly. I kind of got attached to them. I thought they're in a way, they're kind of beautiful.
Well, they got a face on their mother could love.
Oh, look at that hyena.
Now this was at night, and this hyena, I almost could have reached out and touched him. He was walking along the side of our Jeep or Land Cruiser, whatever it was, at night on our way back. So, and here's some Cape buffalo crossing the road.
Wow.
Baboon.
Yeah, there's a baboon. They were everywhere. I did manage to get, like I said, this lion kind of woke up, she raised her head. But we waited and waited and waited for them to do something and finally gave up. And this, these are,
what is that?
Those are called blue ball monkeys.
What kind of monkey?
Blue ball. They're called blue ball monkeys is what they call them.
Oh.
The opposite of the real color. That's a nice picture.
Yeah. Now I didn't see any leopards, but I did see a leopard turtle.
Oh, beautiful.
I was really disappointed that I didn't see any leopards. There's another beautiful warthog with high heels.
Yeah.
Looks like it has.
Looking for his mother.
Oh, that's
nice. That's nice.
So now we left Kruger, and we drove from Kruger. These are some shots, transient shot, a couple of transient shots to
that baby
called Bork's Luck, and just incredible scenery. And we stopped at the highest point of the town there, a really nice little town, and lots of souvenir shops, and had a really, really good coffee shop. I got, like I said, every place had great coffee. Now we're approaching, it looks like this one got out of order, what's called Bork's Landing. It's where Bork's Luck, three rivers come together there at different angles, and it created all these whirlpools, and over millions of years have created scenes like this.
Wow.
Beautiful.
And lots of waterfalls.
Oh, that's great.
It was a beautiful spot. Yeah, welcome to Bork's Luck. In my presentation, this comes first, but we just scrambled the whole thing. Now we left Bork's Luck, and we had a basically all-day drive to go to back to Johannesburg so we could fly to Victoria Falls. And this is in an area they call the Grand Canyon of Africa. It's very similar to the Grand Canyon, except it gets lots of rain, so it's a lot greener. And on the way there, I hope there's another scene from it. We stopped. We were told we're going to stop at a Texas restaurant. They said it's going to be really, really good. And it was a hamburger joint. Oh, this is another tourist vehicle. We're going anywhere in Africa.
Jacked up Humvee.
Yeah. So here's the restaurant I'm talking about, and I kicked myself. I didn't take a picture of called the Spur Restaurant, and it's a hamburger joint, and it was huge, and it was packed, and the hamburgers were really, really good. But I had a big sign there, and I thought that's really, I really appreciated that. Instead of the attitude that Americans have, breastfeeding is welcome. Please wait to be seated.
How long did you have to wait before you got breastfed?
Oh my God. You know, he had to tip the waiter. He had to tip the waiter to get seated first. I'd like mine shaken, not stirred.
I didn't,
Oh,
we
Lord.
actually didn't have to wait that long, but I will talk about waiting to eat and stuff. We soon learned, or at least I did, to just, wherever you went, to just relax. Because they have a saying in Africa, Europeans have the watch, Africans have the time. And they do everything on African time. It's just, everything is just laid back, enjoy yourself, breathe the air, not the frantic. This picture was supposed to be way back where the hippos were. And then we went to, once we basically went to Johannesburg, back to Johannesburg, so we could fly to Zambia, Botswana, where Victoria Falls is. And there's a village there, Makuna Village. And this village is the village that Dr. Livingston came to in about 1855 and met with the chief there, and they told him about Victoria Falls and took him to Victoria Falls, and he's supposedly and apparently the first European to see Victoria Falls. But this village is very much the same way it was back in 1850. This is a little jail they have, a 2-cell jail. It was, of course, they had chickens. Kids are playing, having a lot of fun. I really enjoyed walking around this village.
Great shots. Beautiful.
And this is where if they want to make a telephone call, they go to this building and it has a cell phone connection that you can use, a cell phone that you can use if you want to make a phone call. So you can see some of the, did I get a typical hut there, May? Okay, I have more pictures that shows the typical hut, but now we left, we went to Botswana and we had to cross the border from Zambia to Botswana, and the border, that was the worst border crossing. It was so muddy and there were so many trucks lined up, but I saw this barber shop, but I didn't have time to get a haircut. And this was also the border crossing. Some of you know the story. I had a camera with a 500mm lens on it, and then I had my other camera, on each shoulder, and I tripped on a little concrete gutter and fell and hit the ground really hard, but I managed to lift both cameras up and save them and took the blow with my body. And so I was bleeding. It was a really hard fall. Anyhow, so at Botswana, we went through a little game park in Botswana, and then we got on a boat, and this elephant was we had to pay everywhere, visa or some sort of visas everywhere we went. They weren't that expensive, but to go from one country to another, you had to buy a visa. This elephant was crossing from Botswana to Zambia without a permit. Oh, there's another blue ball monkey. Bird. Yeah, there's another shot. These are supposed to be in order again of the elephant crossing. Finally makes it to the other side.
I love that one.
Yeah.
That looks like somebody I knew. Is that
That's an eagle.
Is that an eagle?
Beautiful.
An eagle. Another Cape buffalo.
Warthog.
Another warthog showing off. Lots of birds, lots of birds. Now these are shots from Victoria Falls. Our hotel, you'll see in one of the shots, I'll show you where our hotel was. We could hear it. It made a roaring noise and always a rainbow, and like the water just sprays up so much it looks like there's just a fog over the whole thing. And It was an amazing place.
Oh, rainbow. I love that rainbow.
Oh, rainbows everywhere you look.
Yeah.
This is the very top of the falls.
That's beautiful.
Another baboon. Walking, we could walk from our hotel room to the falls, and there were lots of baboons running around in that walkway. Now we took a helicopter ride. This was the third helicopter ride I'd taken in my life, but the first one I was in where I was conscious. So it was quite interesting. Where it wasn't a medevac type situation. So
Boy.
anyhow, another shot. You can see now the waterfalls is moving, and they said about 300 years from now, it's going to be about 1 kilometer further to the west. It's constantly shifting at a very slow rate.
Wow.
So to the west is which direction?
Can you see my mouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's where we were staying right there. I got another shot of it.
Wow.
That was where we stayed. Beautiful hotel. Yeah, in the lower right here. This building right here is where our room was.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
We were staying right here, and then sometimes in the morning there would be zebras and giraffes and stuff walking around.
Wow.
So when they said that in a couple, several more, like what years it's gonna be shifting more so that it'll be
It's 300 or
smaller in
400
diameter.
years. Yeah. Now this is basically our last full day in Africa. We went on a river cruise, Sunset River Cruise. So yeah, now here's all the stuff that was out of order. Okay.
How long was the trip? How long was the trip?
How long was the trip? Honey, how long we were in Africa? I forgot. 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Between 2 and 3 weeks.
But it take you a day and a half to get over there.
2 days actually. I mean, we left Los Angeles. The flight leaving New York was in the morning, so we flew to New York the day before, stayed in a hotel room overnight, and then is a total of 17 hours of flying and whatever time difference it was. So basically another day there. So yeah, to get there is 2 days. Coming back, when we got to New York, I forget why in New York, so we had to stay an extra night in New York because of a flight cancellation or something. It took us like 4 days to get home, because then finally we get a flight out of New York and we had to go through Dallas or Houston. Was it Dallas or Houston?
The flight was canceled.
Yeah, we got there and they were having a tornado, severe weather watch and tornadoes. So all flights were canceled. And then we had to stay overnight, at least one night there. And it was a mad dash to get rebooked. And we ended up on different, they couldn't put us both on the same flight to get out.
Oh my goodness.
And
but this was just last year.
This was been 2019, was it? Or was it
2019? This is 2020.
Yeah,
This
last year.
2020.
It's
No.
just so.
Last August?
No, it was 2018, I think.
But it's just
I have
so.
to-
It's just one of the things I think, like when you love to travel and you know how to travel, because I always like hearing about the stories about how everybody's traveling here and there and doing all this kind of stuff. And with the photography, because it just, you know, I'm grateful for the places that I've traveled. I've been to like 13 countries and 32 continental United States. And that's not just with the layover, but at those times in circumstances, I really wasn't into as much photography as I am now. I could just, you know, it just makes me inspired more to make sure to capture the moments, but that when you get a chance to.
Well, I've done several trips with Ralph, and he limits it to a small group. And for photography, that's a huge advantage. Huge advantage. We've done both. We've done tours where with large groups, and in order for me to take pictures on those, I usually get lost on purpose so I can be out and do what I want to do. And
but it's admirable, and I think that the one thing that's a camaraderie though that we all have with each other is that it's with our different backgrounds and experiences and everything, that you can tell, I mean, none of us in this group are ones to, let the grass grow under our feet. And the one thing that we have in common to me is the ability to get out there, and photography is like, it is an illustration of our expression, because, it's what you see. It's just, I just think it's wonderful that, because
well, the pictures
people nowadays, it's almost like if you hadn't done it by now, you might not be able to do it.
Yeah, we had to cancel a trip to Russia this year. So
I canceled the same trip to Paris twice.
Yeah.
Then my camping trip.
But you had how many in your group to Africa? 30? Was it?
That was about 35, and it was, for me, that was I mean, they were, none of them were really photographers, and they realized right away that I was a photographer. I was the only one carrying 2 full frame cameras and stuff. So the annoying thing was then all the time, oh, here, let me show you this picture I got. Everyone wanted to show me.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
hey,
Steve, with all that scenery over there in Africa, you must have been pretty excited to, get out there and take pictures.
Oh, I tell you, let me go back. Yes, for Botswana, for example. Botswana, there's been 20-year some project, I'm not sure exactly how long, where they've been going around the whole world taking DNA samples of people to trace human migration over the last 100,000 years or whatever. And they've been able to trace human migration back of at least the species, the Homo sapien that we are. There's been like the Neanderthal and Homo erectus and so forth, different species of humans that didn't make it back to Botswana. Mm-hmm. So it just was like, wow, I'm here where it all started. Right. And just being, I would have loved to see Africa like it was 200 years ago, because it's amazing the density of the animals now and so forth, but it's nothing compared to what it was 200 years ago.
Right.
And now so many species are in danger of becoming extinct. Lion habitats have been reduced tremendously. Oh, and you've probably all heard the story about Cecil the lion.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's horrible.
Well, I got the African version of that story, and it's different than what has been played up on the internet and Facebook. At least the African version. You cannot hunt in Kruger National Park. Another one, we were in 5 game parks, and Kruger's the only one I can pronounce. But you cannot hunt in those. But there are game parks that farmers have got to put their land together, they fence it in, and then they raise lions and the big 5 to be hunted. But you have to buy a hunting permit, and it's a minimum of around $500,000 to get permit to go hunting in Africa. And you have a guide, and the whole thing's arranged, and you go hunting. And that money supports the local economy tremendously. Well, the park that this guy was hunting in, it's been more than a year since I heard this story. I think it was near Kruger. Not all of Kruger is fenced in. It's too big. A lot of it is. But apparently the guide is the real problem here. they hadn't seen he'd been trying to get a lion for this guy, and he wasn't able to get one, so he lured Cecil the lion out for this guy to shoot, is what I was told in Africa. And then, of course, the dentist got trashed so hard for that.
Was that him,
But
the dentist?
The dentist didn't know that it was Cecil the lion.
Oh.
Well, I think it's all kind of political. I mean, to see even in our own country and on the various continents of things that are happening, but in addition to as many things or natural looking animals that we all remember kind of learning about and growing up, what about all these super species now? You know, that are coming out, the killer bees that are big as 50-cent pieces, and you know, they
don't scare me.
Oh,
they've been around.
You're the beekeeper.
Yeah. They've been around, and if there's something out there, there's a predator for that. So they don't bring that up. And the predator was something like a praying mantis that got those the murder bees. So they only show you one side to get everybody all, crazy.
Yeah.
It's okay. We'll be all right.
Okay.
The bees you'll get honey another year or two. It's okay. Hey, you
well,
know
I'm
what?
not concerned about that. I was more concerned about how the type of things that were with the bigger varieties of this and that kind of stuff. If it's like if they're immune to repellent or this and that, or how much more are they going to have to try to?
Yeah, genetically modified is what scares me.
Yeah, and when I hear genetically modified, I guess because all my 15 years in the service and everything, especially being an explosive ordnance technician, I don't know. It genetically modified to me just sounds just horrible.
Wow.
So I didn't mean to bring it up, but I was just kind of wondering about the bees and all this and that stuff.
I'll let you know. The bees are coming back. The bee numbers are increasing.
Good.
So
That's good.
that is good news. And we don't use Roundup you can't buy Roundup anymore anyway. Don't spray flowers with pesticides, and we're good.
Oh, okay.
You guys, I have to run. The thing's gone over. Steve, it was a beautiful presentation.
Yeah, it was very good.
It makes me want to go to Africa.
Yeah, good job, Steve. Good job.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the mix-up. I got to figure out for the next time I do a presentation, we don't have this issue.
Okay.
I thought I had it going so good, and then for some reason we couldn't Zoom.
But the slides and travel was wonderful.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you so much. I'm going to run because I've got an appointment I'm going to get to, and I'll see you all Friday.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye.
All right.
Steve, if you wouldn't have told me it was
It's
a
almost
club up, I would
4:20,
have just
so-
thought it was perfect.
Thank you very much for listening to my presentation, and we'll see you on Friday.
Okay.
Okay.
Everybody have
That's
a
great.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.